Have you ever noticed how the person you're always there for never seems to need you the way you need them? You pick up every call. You show up to every event. You say yes to everything. You rearranged your whole week around people who wouldn't cross the street for you, and yet somehow, the more available you became, the less anyone seemed to care. That's not your imagination. That's psychology working exactly as designed. Here's the part nobody warns you about. When you're always there, always accessible, always ready to drop everything, you're not being kind. You're teaching people that your time has no value. And the brutal part? They believe you. Because think about it. When was the last time you desperately wanted something that was easy to get? That restaurant with no wait time. That person who texts back instantly every single time. That job that hired you without checking your references. Your brain doesn't work that way. Nobody's does. Robert Cialdini, the psychologist who literally wrote the book on influence, discovered something fascinating about human behavior. He called it the Scarcity Principle. Whatever is rare or dwindling in availability suddenly becomes more desirable. Not because it changed, not because it got better, simply because it became harder to access. When something threatens to slip away, your mind does this strange thing. The thing you were ignoring suddenly glows. This isn't manipulation. This is basic human psychology operating on autopilot in every interaction you have. Your constant availability creates the opposite effect. When you're perpetually accessible, you eliminate the decision-making process. There's no weighing of options, no sacrifice required, no conscious choice to prioritize you. And people don't value what they don't have to choose. They take it for granted instead. Every time you drop everything to respond immediately, every time you rearrange your schedule to accommodate someone else, every time you're the one who always initiates, you're broadcasting one message: my time is unlimited, my attention is free, and I don't value myself enough to protect either. Now, you might be wondering why protecting your time feels so wrong. Why does it feel selfish? Because you've been programmed. Society has spent years conditioning you to believe that boundaries equal selfishness, that saying no makes you cold, that prioritizing yourself makes you a bad person. And that programming is destroying your life. Clinical psychologist Carla Marie Manley points out that even positive change feels uncomfortable. When you start valuing your time and setting boundaries, the people around you will resist. They'll say you've changed. They'll guilt trip you. But their discomfort is not your responsibility. Their resistance is actually proof that the dynamic was unhealthy to begin with. Healthy relationships don't fall apart when you establish reasonable boundaries. Exploitative ones do. There's a deeper layer here. Psychologist B.F. Skinner discovered something called intermittent reinforcement. In his experiments, animals that received rewards unpredictably became far more motivated than animals that received rewards consistently. The unpredictability created anticipation. It created dopamine. It created obsession. But when you're always available and predictable, you're giving consistent reinforcement. And consistent reinforcement, counterintuitively, creates less desire, less motivation, less value. You become background noise. The person someone reaches out to when they're bored. When they need something. When everyone else is busy. You're not the priority. You're the backup plan. Strategic unavailability changes everything. Not game playing, not manipulation. Genuine unavailability, because you're actually building a life worth protecting. When your time becomes limited because you're pursuing your goals, investing in your growth, and honoring your own needs, something shifts. People suddenly have to consider what they're giving up to access you. They have to make a choice. They have to prioritize you. That's when respect enters the relationship. Opportunity cost is the engine behind this shift. When someone wants to spend time with you and you're perpetually available, there's no alternative they're sacrificing, no choice they're making, no consideration of what they're giving up. But the moment you have genuine commitments and limited availability, they have to ask themselves, is spending time with this person worth what I'm sacrificing to do it? And decisions that require effort create investment. Investment creates value. Value creates respect. The transformation isn't about pretending to be busy. That's manipulation, and people can smell it. The transformation is about actually building a life so compelling that your time genuinely becomes limited. When you're pursuing goals that matter, developing skills that excite you, and investing in growth that fulfills you, your availability naturally decreases. Not because you're trying to be scarce, but because you're genuinely occupied with things that matter. That's the difference between strategy and authenticity. Strategy is external manipulation. Authenticity is internal transformation. Watch what happens when you make this shift. The people who only valued your utility will disappear. They'll stop reaching out because you're no longer convenient. And that disappearance isn't loss, it's clarity. Meanwhile, the people who actually value you will adapt. They'll respect your boundaries. They'll work around your schedule. They'll reciprocate the effort. Genuine connection doesn't collapse when you establish reasonable limits. Exploitation does. You'll lose people. Some of them will accuse you of changing, of becoming distant. And they're right. You're not that person anymore. That person was exhausted, depleted, and resentful. The new version of you understands that self-respect isn't selfish, that boundaries aren't walls, they're filters, and that saying no to what doesn't serve you creates space for what does. Power in relationships isn't about control or dominance. It's about equilibrium. It's about mutual respect, where both people value what the other brings. When you're always available, you create imbalance. You position yourself as less valuable. Stopping that pattern doesn't make you cold. It makes you balanced. And balance is where healthy relationships exist. From today, make a promise to yourself. If someone can only value you when you're scarce, they never valued you at all. They valued access. Build a life so full of purpose that your availability becomes a privilege people have to earn. The people meant for you will rise to meet your standards. The rest will fade away. Because the power was never in how much you gave. It was always in how much you refused to give away. If this reframed how you see your own time, subscribe to MindToAct for more psychology that helps you stop overgiving and start being valued.